Chicago, a city renowned for its soaring skyscrapers and vibrant culture, grapples with a hidden crisis. Behind the gleaming facade of progress lies a stark reality, a homelessness crisis of alarming proportions. The city's streets, once symbols of opportunity, have become places of refuge for a growing number of its residents. Families huddle beneath underpasses, seeking shelter from the biting wind. Veterans who once risked their lives for their country now find themselves fighting for basic necessities. This is the face of homelessness in Chicago, a complex issue that demands attention, empathy, and action. The crisis is not new, but its severity has reached unprecedented levels. The familiar sight of individuals panhandling on street corners has become increasingly commonplace. Encampments, once relegated to hidden corners, have sprung up in plain view, a stark reminder of the city's failure to protect its most vulnerable residents. The faces of homelessness are diverse. Families with young children, veterans struggling with trauma, individuals battling mental illness and addiction. Each story is unique, each circumstance different, yet all are bound by the shared experience of living without a roof over their heads. The crisis is not confined to a single neighborhood or demographic. It cuts across racial, economic, and social lines, touching every corner of the city. From the affluent Gold Coast to the struggling South Side, the signs of homelessness are impossible to ignore. The crisis is a stain on the city's conscience, a stark reminder that even in a city of abundance, too many are being left behind. The time for inaction is over. The crisis demands a comprehensive and compassionate response, one that addresses not just the symptoms of homelessness, but also its root causes. It requires a commitment from all segments of society, government agencies, community organizations, businesses, and individuals. Only through collective action can Chicago hope to break the cycle of homelessness and restore dignity to those living on its streets. The human toll of Chicago's homelessness crisis is staggering. In 2025, over 76,000 individuals experienced homelessness, a 12% increase from the previous year. This number represents more than just a statistic, it represents real people. Mothers, fathers, children, veterans, stripped of their dignity and left to navigate the harsh realities of life on the streets. The crisis disproportionately affects people of color, who make up over 60% of the homeless population, despite representing only 30% of the city's total population. The face of homelessness is young. Over 20,000 children in Chicago lack a permanent residence, their childhoods marred by uncertainty and instability. These children are robbed of the simple joys of childhood, forced to grow up too fast amidst the chaos of shelters or the streets. They are more likely to experience health problems, fall behind in school, and face a future fraught with challenges. Their plight is a stark reminder of the intergenerational cycle of poverty that perpetuates homelessness. Veterans, who have served their country with honor, make up another significant portion of the homeless population. Over 800 veterans in Chicago experience homelessness, their sacrifices seemingly forgotten. Many struggle with physical injuries, mental health issues, and the lingering trauma of war, factors that can make it difficult to maintain stable housing. Their plight is a national disgrace, a betrayal of the debt owed to those who have served. These statistics paint a grim picture of the human cost of homelessness in Chicago. They serve as a stark reminder that behind the city's glittering facade lies a population in crisis, struggling to survive on the margins of society. The numbers tell a story of inequality, neglect, and a system that is failing to protect its most vulnerable members. The roots of Chicago's homelessness crisis are complex and intertwined, a web of systemic inequalities, economic hardship, and social failures. Understanding these root causes is crucial to developing effective solutions that go beyond simply managing the crisis. At the heart of the problem lies a severe lack of affordable housing. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Chicago has skyrocketed to $1,870 per month in 2025, while wages for low-wage workers have remained stagnant at around $32,000 per year. This stark disparity between housing costs and income has made it nearly impossible for low-income individuals and families to afford rent, pushing them to the brink of homelessness. Job insecurity and unemployment exacerbate the affordability crisis. Chicago's unemployment rate hovers above 9%, particularly in marginalized neighborhoods where job opportunities are scarce and poverty is entrenched. Without a steady income, individuals and families are one unexpected expense away from financial ruin and potential homelessness. The lack of well-paying jobs traps families in a cycle of poverty, making it nearly impossible to escape the clutches of homelessness. Systemic inequalities rooted in decades of discriminatory policies and practices form another layer of this complex issue. Historical disinvestment in predominantly Black and Latino neighborhoods has resulted in inadequate housing, limited access to healthcare and education, and higher rates of poverty. These inequities create a perfect storm for homelessness, disproportionately impacting communities of color. Chicago's response to the homelessness crisis has been a mix of well-intentioned initiatives and persistent shortcomings. The city has allocated $327 million in funding for homeless services in 2025, an increase from previous years, signaling a growing recognition of the crisis's severity. The city has also embraced the Housing First model, which prioritizes providing permanent housing to individuals experiencing homelessness, recognizing that stable housing is the foundation for addressing other challenges. One of the city's flagship initiatives is Plan 2.00, a comprehensive plan launched in 2025 that aims to prevent and reduce homelessness through a multi-pronged approach. The plan focuses on 4 key areas: prevention, rapid rehousing, supportive services, and interagency coordination. It includes programs to provide rental assistance, job training, mental health services, and substance abuse treatment. While these programs hold promise, their effectiveness is hampered by limited resources, bureaucratic hurdles, and a lack of coordination among service providers. Despite these efforts, significant gaps remain in the city's response. Shelter capacity is woefully inadequate to meet the overwhelming need, forcing many individuals to sleep on the streets even in the bitter cold of winter. Shelters often turn away over 120 people each night, a heartbreaking testament to the lack of safe and dignified options available to those experiencing homelessness. Long wait lists for public housing and bureaucratic hurdles for vouchers further exacerbate the problem, leaving many individuals and families trapped in a cycle of instability. Section 5. Grassroots efforts. Hope from the ground up. While the city grapples with its response, community organizations have emerged as beacons of hope, working tirelessly on the front lines to fill the gaps and provide vital services to those experiencing homelessness. These organizations, often staffed by dedicated individuals with a deep understanding of the community's needs, offer a range of services, from providing hot meals and warm clothing to offering job training and housing assistance. Their work is characterized by compassion, empathy, and a deep commitment to restoring dignity to those who have been marginalized. One such organization is the Affordable Housing Acceleration Fund, a community-led initiative that has raised $1.2 billion to boost the development of affordable housing units across the city. Recognizing that the lack of affordable housing is a major driver of homelessness, the fund provides grants and loans to developers committed to building housing that is accessible to low-income individuals and families. This innovative approach aims to address the root causes of homelessness by increasing the supply of affordable housing options. Another inspiring initiative is the Repurposing of Buildings program, which seeks to transform vacant city-owned buildings into transitional housing units for individuals experiencing homelessness. By leveraging existing resources and partnering with community organizations, the program aims to create safe and dignified housing options while revitalizing neglected neighborhoods. This creative solution highlights the potential for collaboration and innovation in addressing the homelessness crisis. Section 6. A Day in the Life Stories from the Streets. The statistics and policy debates surrounding homelessness often fail to capture the human toll of this crisis. To truly understand the impact of homelessness, one must listen to the stories of those living it every day. Take, for instance, Sarah, a single mother of 2 young children who found herself homeless after losing her job and facing eviction. She spends her days navigating the city's shelter system, her children in tow, desperately searching for a safe and stable place to call home. Her story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity, but also a stark reminder of the systemic failures that lead to homelessness. Then there's Michael, a veteran who served 2 tours in Afghanistan. He returned home physically injured and emotionally scarred, struggling to cope with PTSD and the challenges of reintegrating into civilian life. He found solace in alcohol, which led to job loss and eventually homelessness. Michael's story highlights the invisible wounds of war and the need for comprehensive support services for veterans returning from combat. These stories, though heartbreaking, offer a glimpse into the lives of those experiencing homelessness. They remind us that behind the statistics are real people with unique stories, hopes, and dreams. By listening to their voices, we can begin to dismantle the stereotypes and stigma surrounding homelessness and foster a more compassionate and understanding society. Section 7. The weight of stigma, barriers to belonging. The stigma surrounding homelessness is a pervasive and often invisible barrier that further marginalizes those experiencing it. Homeless individuals are often stereotyped as lazy, irresponsible, or undeserving of help. This stigma manifests in subtle and overt ways, from disapproving glances and whispers to outright discrimination. It can prevent individuals from seeking help, accessing services, and securing employment. The stigma of homelessness is compounded by mental health challenges and substance abuse disorders, which affect a significant portion of the homeless population. These conditions are often misunderstood and stigmatized, creating additional barriers to treatment and recovery. The lack of accessible and affordable mental health care services exacerbates these challenges, leaving many individuals trapped in a cycle of addiction and homelessness. Addressing the stigma surrounding homelessness requires a fundamental shift in attitudes and perceptions. It demands that we recognize the humanity of those experiencing homelessness, understand the complex factors that contribute to it, and challenge the stereotypes that perpetuate it. Public awareness campaigns, educational initiatives, and media representations that humanize homelessness can play a crucial role in dismantling stigma and fostering a more compassionate and inclusive society. Section 8. A call for compassion, bridging the divide. Addressing Chicago's homelessness crisis requires more than just policy changes and funding allocations. It demands a fundamental shift in how we, as a society, view and treat those experiencing homelessness. It requires a commitment to compassion, empathy, and understanding. It calls for us to see beyond the stereotypes and recognize the inherent dignity and worth of every individual, regardless of their housing status. We must challenge the narrative that homelessness is a personal failing, recognizing that it is often the result of systemic inequalities, economic hardship, and social failures. We must acknowledge the role that poverty, lack of affordable housing, mental health challenges, and substance abuse disorders play in perpetuating homelessness, and we must reject the notion that those experiencing homelessness are somehow less deserving of our compassion and support. Building a more compassionate and just society requires us to bridge the divide between us and them. It calls for us to engage in meaningful dialogue with those experiencing homelessness, listening to their stories, understanding their challenges, and amplifying their voices. It requires us to create spaces where individuals experiencing homelessness feel seen, heard, and valued. Section 9. The road ahead toward a more equitable Chicago. The road to ending homelessness in Chicago is long and arduous, but not without hope. Building a more equitable and just city where everyone has a safe and stable place to call home requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the root causes of homelessness, expands access to affordable housing, and provides comprehensive support services to those in need. Investing in affordable housing is paramount. The city must prioritize the development of affordable housing units, providing subsidies and incentives to developers who prioritize housing for low-income individuals and families. This includes exploring innovative housing models such as tiny homes, co-living spaces, and repurposed buildings. Expanding access to mental health and substance abuse treatment is equally crucial. The city must invest in community-based mental health services, making them more accessible and affordable for those experiencing homelessness. This includes increasing the number of mental health professionals, expanding outreach programs, and reducing the stigma surrounding mental health care. Ultimately, addressing homelessness requires a collective effort from all segments of society. Government agencies, community organizations, businesses, and individuals must work together to create a safety net that prevents people from falling into homelessness and provides pathways out of it. It demands a commitment to social justice, equity, and compassion. By working together, we can create a Chicago where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their housing status.